Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to really get under the skin of the sources, giving you that conversational shortcut to being totally up to speed. Today, we are really diving headfirst into a pretty intense world. We're talking immortal love, huge supernatural battles, and this seemingly endless cycle of reincarnation. That's a lot.
It is. And our mission today really is to map this whole thing out for you. We're going to unpack the mythology of fallen angels, the specific rules around reincarnation in this world, and the power dynamics. Because they're shocking. They basically force our main character, Luce, to grab the wheel of her own story. She's trying to break a curse that's literally millennia old.
And the price tag on this love story is just astronomical right from the start. The sources lay it out plain. Luce and Daniel have this epic love. It spans lifetime after lifetime. It's grand, it's sweeping, but...
But the instant that love is fully realized, consummated in any way, in any life, Luce dies.
And not peacefully.
No, not at all. Spontaneous combustion, burns up, gone. Only to be reborn, start again, same doom cycle.
It's a tragedy that just defines Daniel. He's an angel, right? But he feels, and the text says this specifically, damned forever by this endless loop of love and loss.
Yeah, and it's not just telling us, it shows us. Like when Luce isn't near him, his eyes, which are usually this distinct violet, they turn gray. As gray as the thick fog enveloping the Sausalito shoreline is the exact quote. It's visual.
Wow.
And he gets physically cold, like actually feels cold when he's hunting, whatever that entails for an angel, without her. His whole focus, his crushing goal becomes separation.
Keeping her safe means keeping her away.
Exactly. The constraint he admits he couldn't fathom having to enforce. It's just torture for him.
The ultimate romantic paradox, isn't it? The biggest act of love is don't get close. But
Right.
things are escalating, right? There's a new immediate threat.
Huge escalation.
Yeah.
We find out almost straight away that Daniel's forced into this meeting with Cam.
Cam, who's been set up as his total rival, maybe even a demon.
Pretty much positioned that way, yeah. But this new threat, it just bulldozes right over their personal beef. Daniel actually admits to Cam, we killed the wrong guy.
Hang on. They're running, like, celestial black ops, and they got the wrong target.
Seems like it. And this mistake, this specific mistake, has directly activated a new group, the Outcasts.
Okay.
Cam confirms it. Because the screw-up, so now they want her too.
Oh, man. So Luce goes from being just vulnerable to being, like, the prize everyone's fighting over.
Exactly. Which forces Daniel and Cam into this really uncomfortable, dark alliance. They agree on one thing, separation.
Keep her away.
Cam lays it down. Distance from Luce has to be the cardinal rule.
Yeah.
It's stark. Angel and the demon united because they both need to stay away from the girl they're involved with.
So the guy who's supposed to be her eternal love teams up with his nemesis just to push her away? That really sets the stage for Shoreline, doesn't it? Not exactly a safe haven.
No, it's more like a gilded cage, a very high-pressure one.
Yeah, so this forced separation sends Luce off to Shoreline School. And the sources make a huge deal about how different it is from her last school, Sword and Cross.
Oh, night and day. Sword and Cross was literally next to a cemetery, all grim and gritty.
Right.
Shoreline. It's Mendocino, California. She drives past Sonoma, through the redwoods. It's stunning. Gorgeous campus, vineyards, old wooden houses, amazing ocean views down this steep cliff.
Sounds idyllic. Almost suspiciously so.
Well, yeah. And the architecture hints at it. The main classroom, the Nephi Lodge, it's this two-story A-frame, almost all glass. Beautiful, sure, but zero privacy. You see everything.
Deliberate design, you think?
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Mirrors of the whole philosophy of the place, total exposure to conflicting ideas.
And the students aren't what she expects either, not the pinched and snotty rich kids.
No, they're described as gifted, sun-kissed, and carefree. Almost unnervingly nice.
Why? What's the deal?
They're Nephilim.
Okay, unpacked it.
Children of fallen angels and humans, so they've got this diluted celestial blood, diluted powers. Varies a lot from student to student.
And they know about Luce.
Oh, yeah. They're casually famous because of her story with Daniel. Some kids, like Dawn and Jasmine, are totally obsessed, call it the greatest love story ever. Luce basically becomes this accidental celebrity, but only because of the angel who loves her. It's awkward.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly uncomfortable. So these Nephilim powers, are they like throwing lightning bolts?
Not usually. Seems much more subtle for most. We meet Miles, right?
Yeah.
He seems like a genuinely nice guy, pretty down to earth.
Yeah.
He calls himself deluded, says his powers are embarrassingly low grade.
What can you do?
His main thing seems to be accidentally creating a perfect mirror image, a reflection of someone he really cares about. which becomes important later.
Okay.
He's pretty upfront that he's mostly at Shoreline because his rich parents endowed the deck they're standing on when he tells her this.
So the powers aren't necessarily combat skills, it's
Yeah.
more nuanced.
Exactly. It reinforces that Shoreline isn't really a training camp for war. It's more like a holding pattern. An educational facility, maybe, but with very high stakes.
Which brings us back to the school structure. It's designed to stop students from being swayed to one side or the other, right? Forcing them to grapple with both perspectives of this ancient war.
Precisely. And that leads to this totally paradoxical teaching setup. The core teachers, Francesca and Stephen Fillmore.
They're like the yin and yang of the faculty.
Perfectly put. Francesca is the angel figure. Beautiful, warm, seems reasonable. She focuses on the present, the future, kind of the standard good angel approach, forward-looking redemption, all that.
And Stephen?
Even Fillmore. The Silver Fox, he's explicitly called more of a demon.
Okay, so total opposites. Do they, like, debate each other in class?
They teach jointly. The main humanities block, which they call angelics, it's Frankie and Stephen together.
Yeah.
And the kicker, the sources flat out say they're in a relationship.
Wait, what?
Yep, they just sort of live in sin. It's not an antagonistic setup. They're partners living together.
An angel and a demon teaching together and together. That sounds incredibly unstable. Doesn't that just confuse the students even more if the goal is not to be swayed?
Or maybe it guarantees balanced exposure. That seems to be the school's risky strategy.
Oh.
Their relationship is the lesson. It embodies the blurred lines, the gray areas in this whole conflict. Luce herself notices this. She connects the dots between the weird truce she saw between Daniel and Cam and this domestic setup with Francesca and Stephen. It kind of normalizes the idea that the world isn't black and white.
Which connects to the Outcasts later, right? The gray zone.
Exactly. It sets the stage. Every lesson they teach about the big celestial war gets filtered through these two opposing yet weirdly intimate viewpoints. It forces the students to think critically, not just memorize dogma, prepping them for the reality of the world, maybe even the end times.
Okay, so Luce is in this weird school, trying to navigate Nephilim gossip and angel demon teachers living in sin. But this next part, this is where the mythology she thought she knew just gets blown wide open. Those terrifying black shadows she keeps seeing. The announcers.
Yeah, they turn out to be way more complicated than just like omens of death. It's Stephen, the demon teacher, who lays out the real lore.
What does he say?
He tells the class they are shadows of the past, of long ago and not so long ago events. But, and this is critical, he stresses they are distortions, mere representations, projections. They are not the simple truth.
Okay, hold on. That's huge. If Luce is trying to figure out her past lives by looking at these things, and the demon teacher's basically saying they're unreliable narrators, where does that leave her?
In a very tricky spot, intellectually. And Stephen leans right into it. Later on, he gives her a copy of Plato's Republic.
Plato, why?
The allegory of the cave. He explicitly discusses it with her.
The shadows on the wall.
Exactly. Stephen's basically saying, Luce, these announcers, they're like those shadows flickering on the cave wall. They're secondhand, distorted versions of reality. If you want the real truth, you got to turn around and walk out of the cave.
Wow. So the only tool she has to understand her past is fundamentally flawed from the start. That's rough.
It is. But she gets a front row and pretty horrifying demonstration of how this glimpsing actually works. Francesca and Stephen do it for the class.
They show them how to look into the past? I thought it was forbidden.
It is, but they demonstrate it, maybe as a warning. The description is really visceral. They manipulate one of these shadows. It makes this thick glugging sound and stretch it out like a projector screen. They're controlling the distortion, not summoning pure history.
And what do they show?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A totally silent image of these two ancient cities just being consumed by fire and light from the sky, collapsing stone walls, total devastation. It's described as horrific.
And how do the students react? These Nephilim.
The physical toll is intense. Even with their diluted powers, they're left dazed, exhausted, like psychically drained from just witnessing something that happened millennia ago. Looking back literally wears them out.
So that's why it's forbidden.
Exactly.
Right.
The teachers immediately follow up with a strict warning. Don't try this. You could lose control and lose yourselves in the shadows. You could literally get lost in the past, lose your identity.
But Luce, she doesn't listen, does she?
Not even slightly. In fact, the sources say she feels strangely energized by the whole thing, not tired at all.
Why?
Because her need to know is overwhelming. She feels like her past lives are siblings she'd been separated from at birth. She's desperate to fill that void, even if it's dangerous. Safety warnings just don't register compared to that need. She chooses danger.
And her first attempt, it doesn't go well, right?
No, she deliberately summons an announcer in the woods, tries to step into it. When she comes back to herself, she's totally disoriented and realizes she's lost 9.5 hours. Went in at 11 a.m., came out at 8:30 p.m.
Dawn, lost time.
Yep. Which proves these things aren't just recordings. They mess with time itself. They're portals, dangerous ones. But does that stop her? Nope. Her curiosity is now like a runaway train.
So she keeps trying, but maybe gets smarter about it.
She starts learning to control it, yeah. And this leads to some major revelations about the curse in her past lives. It's like a montage of fragmented memories.
Okay, let's break those down. What does she see?
3 key glimpses really stand out in the sources. First, Mount Shasta, California. She deliberately looks back and sees her parents from a past life. They're this frail old couple in a living room.
Different parents.
Completely different parents.
Yeah.
Which is devastating. It confirms she doesn't just lose her life each time. She loses her family, her connections, her current parents. Also temporary. The source even gives the address. 1291 Shastashire Circle, App 34. Grounding it in reality.
God, that's bleak. What else?
Second glimpse. She sees a past version of herself, let's say 16, dark hair, lying in bed. And Daniel is outside her window, sneaking in to see her. He's described as glowing.
So this confirms the pattern. The secret meetings.
Confirms their love story has always been clandestine, always forbidden, probably because of the curse, always sneaking around.
Huh.
For centuries.
Okay. And the third one?
This one's more involved. Later, Miles and another friend, Shelby, help her actually step through an announcer. She makes physical contact with a woman named Vera, a casino dealer in Vegas.
Physical contact with the past.
Briefly. And it triggers this flood of memory. Vera was her sister in a past life in Canada. She sees herself as a toddler, then as a teen, fighting with Vera over reading her diary.
So different siblings, too. Every connection wiped clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real, deep, emotional bonds formed in each life, just erased every time she dies. It's the full scope of the tragedy, not just the romance angle.
She's seeing just wreckage, fragments of lives she doesn't remember. And she's doing all this totally against the rules, risking her mind, losing time.
Which makes Steven's reaction fascinating. He catches her. The demon teacher knows she's breaking the biggest rule.
And he busts her.
Nope. He pulls her into his office and basically mentors her.
What? Why?
Pragmatism. He tells her straight up, I don't believe you will stop messing with the announcers, even if I do ask you to. He knows she's unstoppable.
So harm reduction.
Pretty much. He realizes punishment won't work, so he decides to make her safer while she does it. He doubles down on the Plato warning. Remember, these are distortions, but then gives her practical advice.
Like what? How to do it safely.
He teaches her techniques for summoning them more controllably. And crucially, how to screen out the announcer's noise.
Noise?
Yeah, the sources describe it as containing riotous, distracting voices, like the chaos of all history yelling at once. Stephen teaches her how to filter that out, how to focus, how to find the signal in the noise.
He's teaching her critical thinking, discipline.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The demon teacher is the one telling her, think for yourself, filter the information, don't just be overwhelmed. It's a massive turning point. He's empowering her in a dangerous way. ##33, the rising tide of conflict and surveillance.
So Luce is getting skilled with this forbidden knowledge, but that knowledge itself makes her a bigger target, right? And meanwhile, the actual supernatural war is heating up around Shoreline.
Definitely. She overhears Francesca and Stephen talking about some really alarming stuff. They mention a star shot and the end times.
End times, like apocalypse time.
Seems like it. Francesca explicitly says the Nephilim need to get ready for them. And they mention Daniel will know about this star shot, whatever that is. So it connects the school right back to the main angelic conflict, the high command.
And this ties into the new big threat Cam mentioned earlier, the Outcasts.
Directly. The sources give us a really clear picture of who these guys are. And it complicates that simple heaven versus hell idea.
Oh, so?
The Outcasts are called the worst kind of angel. They sided with Satan in the big rebellion way back when, but after the fall, they refused to go down into the underworld with him.
They didn't pick heaven or hell?
Nope. They chose gray. They occupy this gray zone, described as a sickening shade of gray.
What does that mean practically, politically?
It means they're mercenaries, total wild cards. They owe allegiance to nobody, not heaven, not hell, just themselves and whatever their goal is at the moment. Unpredictable, uncontrollable. Spiritual nihilists, maybe.
Which makes them dangerous to everyone.
The most dangerous because you don't know their angle. They're the immediate military threat to both sides.
And their weapon, this star shot Francesca mentioned.
That's their signature weapon,
Yeah.
silver, headless arrows. And they are absolutely devastating, specifically to angels, because angels to just disappear in a gray flash. Gone.
Lethal.
Very. Cam demonstrates it himself. He takes out an outcast girl near Noyo Point with one. It's brutal and swift. The danger is very real, very mortal for the angels anyway.
And Luce's newfound recklessness with the announcers puts her right in the crosshairs. She gets lured off campus.
Yeah, classic trap. A fake letter, supposedly from Daniel, asking her to meet him near Noyo Point. Total setup.
But Cam saves her, the rival.
He intercepts her just in time. Yeah. Saves her from the ambush. But the fallout is bad. Dawn, the Nephilim girl, who kind of looked like Luce before Luce changed her hair, gets kidnapped right after.
They grab the wrong girl.
Exactly. The sources confirm. It was Luce they wanted. The attack wasn't random. It was targeted specifically at her.
That's terrifying. Does Dawn get back okay?
Steven brings her back, unharmed. Says the kidnappers realize their mistake. But then Steven imposes this harsh silence on both Luce and Dawn. Total lockdown on the information.
Carving it up.
Big time. It was a massive security failure. The enemy got close, almost succeeded. Steven has to clamp down hard. And for Luce, it's the final confirmation. She's not just a student learning about a war. She's the target. The gray zone wants her.
And just when she thinks she's maybe getting a handle on things, she sees something through an announcer that just shatters everything, especially her image of Daniel.
This is probably the biggest gut punch for her. The moment that makes her question everything, she glimpses Daniel on an island beach, standing over a dead man, a bloody body.
Oh, God.
And Cam is there too, crouched over the body, tying it up with thick braided rope.
Working together.
Clearly. And Daniel isn't the tortured romantic hero here. He sounds callous and unremorseful. He snaps at Cam, "Hurry up, you're wasting time."
That doesn't sound like the Daniel who feels damned forever.
Yeah.
How does the text reconcile that, the tragic lover in this cold battlefield operative?
I think the text forces us, and Luce, to accept that Daniel operates in a much darker reality than she knew. His commitment is to his cause, and keeping her alive is part of that cause, but the methods, they can be brutal, amoral.
So the ends justify the means for him.
Seems that way. This glimpse reveals that his alliance with Cam isn't just a temporary truce. They work together on grim business. The assumption that they hated one another is just blown away. His war isn't about pure morality. It's about survival strategy. He'll cross lines. He'll ally with demons.
And seeing that,
Oh.
that must change how Luce sees him fundamentally.
Absolutely. It rips away the romantic facade. It shows the horrifying cost of his protection, his war. And it completely justifies her eventual decision to walk away. She realizes she's caught up in something far darker and more compromised than just a tragic love story. #tag5i. The Thanksgiving Showdown and the Ultimate Sacrifice.
Okay, so Luce is dealing with flawed history lessons, outcast assassins, and the revelation that her angel boyfriend might be a war criminal working with demons. And then things somehow get more chaotic. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Francesca and Steven suddenly decide Luce should be ungrounded. They claim it's best for a student to be with family, but it feels pretty flimsy.
Like they just want her off campus, away from the immediate shoreline danger zone.
That's exactly how it reads. So she travels back home to Thunderbolt, Georgia, with Miles and Shelby tagging along, expecting maybe some awkward family time.
That's not what she gets.
Not even close. She walks into an ambush of angels and demons. Her house is packed. Daniel's there, Cam's there, Gab, Molly, Roland. It's this massive, unwelcome Thanksgiving party.
Why? Protection detail.
Seems like it. If Luce is the target, surround her with firepower. Even if that firepower includes people who supposedly hate each other, crammed into her parents' living room, the tension must have been insane.
And it spills over at the dinner table, right? This simmering conflict between Daniel's approach and, well, everyone else's.
Totally. Miles, who's consistently shown as just decent and honest, praises Luce's parents. He says they're honest and open with her.
Which is a direct shot at Daniel.
A huge passive-aggressive jab. Because Daniel has kept Luce completely in the dark about pretty much everything important.
How does Daniel react?
He gets defensive. Starts talking about how relationships require effort and commitment. It just highlights the whole divide, doesn't it? Daniel's all about the monumental effort of maintaining this secret, cursed love. Miles values honesty and openness. Luce is sitting there, caught between this intense historical burden and maybe, just maybe, a chance at something normal.
But normal isn't on the menu for Thanksgiving. The Outcasts attack.
Full-scale assault. An army of them, led by Phil.
Phil? Wait, isn't he one of Miles's classmates from Shoreline? The kind of weird-looking one?
The very same. Described as looking like an albino David Bowie. Used to seem kind of deluded and harmless back at school. Now he's leading the charge for the Gray Zone. It brings the war right home.
So they attack the house, silver bows, star shots flying.
Yeah, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And before the big guns, Daniel, Cam, Gabby can even react. Molly steps up.
Molly, the grumpy one.
Yeah, in this moment of pure, unexpected awesome. She jumps off the roof wielding 2 garden rakes.
Garden rakes, seriously.
Seriously. And she uses them to till the arrows from the air, batting away the first volley of lethal star shots. It's kind of funny, but also genuinely heroic. Saves the angels right at the start. An immortal warrior using lawn tools. Just underlines the sheer madness.
Okay, so Molly buys them a second. And in that chaos, Luce has a realization about the arrows, the star shot.
A critical one. She'd been terrified for everyone. Her human parents, her friends, Callie and Shelby, plus all the angels. But then she sees an arrow just glance off Callie's skin. No effect. Click. It confirms what she learned. The star shots killed angels, not humans.
That's a mixed blessing.
Hugely. She's safe. Her parents are safe. But Daniel, Cam, Roland, Gaby, Arian, they're all targets. She's basically human bait, drawing fire towards the immortals she cares about.
The fight gets desperate. Phil, the outcast leader, corners them, demands Luce surrender. And then Miles, the deluded Nephilim.
Miles makes the ultimate move. The text explicitly confirms he's in love with her. They say it's easy to do with the people you, like, love. His power activates because of that feeling.
The mirror image power.
Exactly. He uses it, splinters Luce off into this perfect reflection. It's poetic, really. His specific subtle power, born of affection, is the one thing that can save her in this moment.
So the reflection, what happens?
Mirror image steps forward, deliberately takes a starshot arrow right in the chest, and poof, disappears in that blinding gray flash.
Tricking the outcasts.
Tricks them completely. Phil and his army see her die, they think they've won, and they retreat.
It also tricks the good guys.
Tragically, yes. Especially Daniel. He sees the flash, thinks Luce is gone. Either the curse finally got her via spontaneous combustion, or the star shot somehow did kill her. He is utterly destroyed. The sources say he tore at his hair, just raw, unhinged grief. It shows how much he cares, even as she's realizing she can't be with him.
And the real Luce is watching this, hiding in the shed.
Watching the whole thing, seeing Daniel's despair. But it's not his grief that convinces her to stay. It's the opposite. It forces her final realization.
What's that?
She sees the relentless cycle of suffering. Daniel didn't just bring her to Shoreline, he dragged her into a cursed eternity. And everyone around them, everyone who loves them, is suffering for your curse, meaning his.
It's not just her suffering, it's collateral damage.
Exactly. And she realizes she needs more than to be wanted by him. Their epic, forever love. It has to wait. She needs to figure out her own life, her own history first. Build an identity outside the curse, outside his protection, outside him.
So this leads us to the climax. Luce makes her choice. While everyone else is mourning her apparent death, Daniel's falling apart. She decides to take control.
Complete control. It's her declaration of independence. She steps out of the shed, not as a victim, but as, well, as a practitioner of the forbidden knowledge Stephen taught her.
She summons an announcer.
Deliberately, with intent. The source says the shadow rises up and settles right in her palm. It makes this cold, sizzling sound. This isn't like the terrifying accidental glimpses before. She's manipulating it now, using those filtering techniques Stephen showed her, screening out the chaos.
And Daniel sees this.
He sees her, alive. And manipulating an announcer, the one thing he desperately forbade her from doing. He panics, rushes towards her, yelling, "You don't know what you're doing, Luce. It could take you anywhere."
He's terrified of where or when it might send her.
Totally. Terrified of losing her in time, terrified of the power she's wielding.
But she tunes him out.
She ignores him completely. This is her moment. Self-discovery over safety. Her last thought before she jumps into that jagged, foul-smelling shadow portal is basically, if our love is really forever, then forever could wait.
And she jumps into the past, into the unknown.
Choosing her own history, her own answers over the established curse. It's a huge leap of faith into darkness.
But Daniel, he doesn't just let her go, does he?
Not a chance. The sources say he follows her instantly, dives right into the same portal after her.
Why? What's he thinking?
He believes his innate sense, his connection to her, his burning love will guide him to her wherever or whenever the announcer took her. He's not trying to stop her using the shadows anymore. He's using his own power to chase her through them. He knows she's manipulating them now.
And his last thought?
Certainty. He will find her. He will save her. Always.
Wow. So even in her ultimate act of independence, he's right behind her? The codependency continues, just across time now.
Pretty much. She dives into chaos seeking freedom. He dives in right after her, affirming his eternal, maybe controlling dedication.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. The key takeaway for you, listening to this deep dive. Luce's story stops being about waiting for a boy. It transforms, right? It becomes a story of a learner, someone actively taking charge of her own, well, her own reincarnated education.
Yeah, she's using forbidden knowledge, the announcers, these flawed tools, to try and defy a curse that's centuries old, to find her own autonomy. She goes from being just a piece in the game, a victim of fate, to an active player, a student digging into her own dangerous past.
Which leaves us with a really provocative question, doesn't it?
Definitely. Luce has chosen knowledge, flawed as it might be, over destiny. She's chosen separation, for now, over their all-consuming love. But is knowing your history enough? Even with Stephen's demon-taught filtering skills, can knowing the full, messy, bloody story of your past lives actually empower you to break fate?
Oh.
Or will diving headfirst into those shadows, into the past, just lead her to a different kind of death? A new, unexpected trap in some forgotten timeline where maybe even Daniel, following close behind, can't reach her in time.
The past holds the key, but the lock might be deadly. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.